Not you dip down as soon as I hit the button.
Well, because I technically got both covers.
Oh, you
Yeah.
do. Hey, everybody. I should probably pull it up and just make sure everything is flowing. We are here to talk about the other black girl. We're going to get into it pretty quickly, and we're probably going to get into spoilers pretty quickly. So,
Yeah.
if you care about spoilers, you know, probably say your hellos and head on
And goodbyes.
out. And head on out. Um, so we both attempted to reread it. I just finished it. That's why we like 2 minutes late. And let me apologize ahead of time because we got a lot of noise going on. They're fixing my AC. I'm hot, so there'll be people coming in and out. I got the window open. The ice cream man may or may not still be outside. So just bear with us because this is life and this is how we roll. This is what we do.
And my internet has been a little finicky, so we hoping since I'm using my cell phone that it's not gonna let me, dip out of here.
We're
We
gonna
shall
try. We
see.
just gonna hold on. We're gonna see. So yes, it's a lot of people here. I
I
talked about this book in like I want to say my wrap up I did, my quarterly wrap up, and y'all were like, do a standalone review. And I was like, I want to do a standalone review. But I also want the energy of talking to y'all about this very polarizing book. So that's why we're here instead of doing like a standalone review. And I asked Cachet if she would like trudge through the trenches with me and to read this, and she agreed. So thank you
yeah.
for being here. Do you want to introduce yourself while people
Yeah.
are heading
I'm
out?
Shay. My channel is Shay with the Hobbies, where I talk about my writing, the books I love, and all the crafting things. And it is and always will be Black with a big B. So if that is interesting to you, if you like, hey, I want to learn how to crochet, hey, you trying to make earrings, I want to watch, you know, come hit that subscribe button and see what videos I got coming eventually when your girl feel like editing and stuff. They'll give me the line on the day.
Okay, so also a little side note is I had a drink as soon as I got home, and I may or may not be tiny bit, a tiny bit buzzed. So this should be fun. This should
This
be
is gonna be hilarious. This is gonna be hilarious.
fun. Okay, we got Britt, we got Pat, we got Vina, we got Chloe. Yes, for the early birds saying
Yeah,
hello.
telling it.
We got Dejana in the place. Okay. Okay, Sarah, we see you. And that's the TV show. So we just got a lot of noise. Y'all just bear with me. Just bear with me. Marlena in here. What's up? What's up? Okay. So do you want to summarize or do you want me to read the synopsis on the cover?
Go ahead and read the synopsis because this is the
Okay.
non-spoilery part. We gonna spoil it, so like the
Yeah.
non-spoilery part.
Okay, so the synopsis says 26-year-old editorial assistant Nella Rogers is pretty tired of being the only black girl at Wagner Books. So, of course, she's excited when Hazel May McCall starts working in the cubicle beside hers. Born and raised in Harlem, Hazel exudes the confidence and charm that Nella has never quite possessed. But they only just started swapping emails and natural hair care regimens when a string of unsettling events causes Nella to become public enemy number one and Hazel the office darling. And then the notes start to appear on Nella's desk. Leave Wagner now. Nella can't believe that Hazel's been leaving the notes. Despite her crude code switching and competitive vibes, the new black girl doesn't seem that hostile. But as Nella begins to spiral, obsess, and ultimately uncover the sinister forces at play, she risks losing much more than her career. The stakes are higher than she could have imagined, far beyond P&L's promotions. Propulsive, darkly funny, and endlessly surprising, The Other Black Girl is a whip smart commentary on diversity in the workplace. It brims with the cringy, all too real struggles of being a black woman in a largely white industry, but also will resonate with anyone who's ever felt manipulated or outmaneuvered, threatened, or overlooked. As disturbing as it is tender, this is a novel that questions the silence we trade for success and asks in the end whether that sacrifice can truly be worth it. This book gave me a twitch. Like my eye.
I got First of all, I feel like that synopsis makes the book sound way better than it is.
I
For
tried to give it a little razzle dazzle when I was reading it, you know?
right, like,
This
I
is
feel
how
like
we
it
get
makes
sucked
it like,
in.
okay, this might not be as I cuss on your channel, right?
Yep.
As effed up as it is. Cause y'all, bruh, I'm like, I don't here's the thing. I'm so glad that I listened to the audiobook.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have finished it in the way that I finished it the first time had I had
Right.
to read this. Because
No.
there were just so many things, like physically looking at the words, that just had me like, if I ever see this girl in real life, if I ever see, like, we gonna have a real conversation. There's gonna be some furniture moving. Like,
I have a lot of questions for her
a
before I whip
lot,
that ass, you know.
a
got
lot of
I got a
questions.
lot of questions. I feel like the synopsis made you think it would be more about publishing than it was. Definitely. I 100% agree. I think I said in
When
my
you read the
Goodreads.
inside, I was like, "What's a P&L? Did they even cover that in the book?"
Sort of. P&L is profits and losses, right? So I think they sort of talked about it. They talked about the market and who they could sell it to and all of that, but not
Yeah, like
really.
in the
Not
when they
really.
were talking about the cover, but I was like, "What is a
Yeah,
P&L?"
yeah. Headache. I got Twitch. I'm drinking.
Man,
So
I definitely have smoked
I
like
never
five
felt
joints
offended.
today reading this book. Oh, but I'm not gonna lie, I
Listen,
did switch between this book and Cherish Farrah, and both of those got me like, where's my lighter?
you
Where's
know,
my lighter? So,
upset, disturbed, blood pressure up. Okay,
speaking of
CP
CP
time.
time,
We love it. We love it. I agree, Shay. I fell for the hype so hard. No, I think I might not have pre-ordered that, but I definitely only bought it based off the cover, the
y'all,
strength of the cover.
y'all, two copies. I have two copies. This one came from the UK because this is the autograph one. Yeah, two copies. Also, the way I tried to like switch the covers so that I could give the person the non-autograph one, but the books aren't the same size. So I just don't know what I'm gonna do because I prefer the black girl.
I'm not done with you. I'm not finna do this. Shay realizes why it hurt me so much after reading it physically. Yeah.
Yeah, reading it physically is a whole different conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So it's funny because on my way home, I was trying to finish it via the audiobook, and I got to the scene at the end. I won't give spoilers yet, but I'll wait till well, we are 10 minutes. So if you listen, Linda, listen. If you not want spoilers, don't come for me because I'm trying to tell y'all there's gonna be spoilers this whole time. So just
This whole time.
please.
Y'all got
Um,
technically she blessing y'all with this 10 minutes because you got the non-spoilery one already.
yeah, yeah,
You got that in the quarterly wrap up. So she's spoiling
yeah,
y'all right now is what she's trying to say. Get ready,
yes.
get ready, get ready, get ready. We about to get into it.
So the part where in like chapter 19, I think, where the meeting with Jesse, Hazel, Richard, Vera, and the cover, I think, the cover designer person, art design person.
Amy or Leonard?
Yeah, Amy.
Amy,
So
yeah,
when they're
yeah.
in that meeting and like things started to truly unravel for Nella, yeah, it was so cringe. I was like, girl, shut up. If you spent this whole book not saying nothing when you need to been talking, and now you want to talk now? Anyway,
Girl, when she was like, what she say? you people are unfucking believable. And then they were like, what do you say? And she was like, it's so, the cover is so unfucking believable. Or something. I was like, girl,
That, that part.
I was
Yes.
so mad at her. I was so
Yes,
mad at her.
so yeah, so I borrowed, well, I guess you call it borrowing from Scrib. I don't know. I got it from Scrib this time around. I think the first time I borrowed it from the library. And uh-huh. So I I did that on my way. Like I knew I wasn't gonna be able to push myself through it physically, even though I don't really care. I didn't care for the handful of narrators. It was confusing, especially the first time. Not so much the second time because I knew what was going on. We got back. But the first time I was really confused with all the time jumps since there's like three different storylines that sort of converge, which you don't understand that from the synopsis. They don't really let you know that's what you're
The
getting
synopsis
into.
don't let you know you getting anybody's point of view but one person's.
Right.
So
So
you wouldn't have known that. Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised.
so the cover got me and I could only the boy you can yes.
Only this
Yes,
one.
see now that this beautiful just
Now I will say I do
it's
like this.
beautiful.
The UK cover has this, and
Oh,
the
on the end
American one
pages,
does it.
yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
plain.
I
So
do like this.
yeah, that's nice. And I don't mind the hair pick because I really like that part of the because it's
Right.
embossed.
Like no,
Yeah,
I think low key, I think it would have been and this is why self publishing sounds so great because I low key would have done this on the front and this on the back, or this on the back, like as like what
yeah,
this is. Like I think that would have
yeah.
been such a dope picture.
Well, I know I feel a little buzz because my cheeks all hot and stuff. Yeah. Okay. It was on my TBR until everyone shared their thoughts. Listen, you might like it because I'm gonna tell you this. We're gonna
I
drag
don't
it.
think it's a bad
We're gonna drag
read.
it. It's a good read. Like when I say good read, it's compulsively readable.
Right.
It's not a bad book. It's just the shit that goes on in the book.
This yeah, the content is where you like nah, but like even now, like what did I start texting you? I read it on like I started reading again like Monday because I was
Yeah,
feeling
I
better
want to
on
say
Monday.
Monday.
Monday is
Hmm.
Wednesday and I'm almost done with it again. And I
Yeah, yeah.
haven't been reading it continuously because I'm still trying to get my strength up and stuff. But like
Hmm.
again, 3 days
Yeah.
even with being sick and coming off the sick bed. So like
Yeah.
it's one of those.
Yeah. That part. Several. There's
Here's the
several
thing.
meetings that she went to with the empty notebook.
Here,
Like,
let's talk about that first, can we? Because
uh,
that's the one thing me and you were like texting each other back and forth. This girl was bad at her job. She just was. She was always bad at her job, like all the time.
okay, so I
Like
wrote notes about that, and I was like, okay, in part two, I think it was. Let me open the Google Doc.
I, I Google Doc. This is real. I'm listening. I let it. I let it.
No, I was like, okay. In part two, I was like, no, this bitch don't do shit, right? At her job, and she was so worried about working twice as hard and being twice as good and all that. And I was like, but I haven't really outside of that diversity. What do you call that? Um, meetings.
Meeting right.
I don't know. I don't really know what you want to call it, but the diversity meetings at Wagner. Outside of that, I wasn't getting that she was doing anything more than anybody else. She was just simply doing what she was supposed to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She was hitting the mark and not doing anything outside of that. But then
Right.
when I got to or not chapter four, but part four, there's a part where Richard, I didn't write the page down, but there's a part where Richard is talking to, or I think when it flashes back to her tea with Richard,
Uh
and he
huh.
was like,
Yeah.
or not even that, but like at some other point, he literally says, "I wish our other assistants worked as hard as you do." And so I was like, maybe she does actually. Um, I'm finna have to. turn my camera off. But
Yeah, let me see,
I
because
think
I
she does
remember that line
actually
too,
work
and I
hard.
can't.
But it's not till part four that you even get that
Right, and I
from.
thought it was because of she started working harder because of Hazel, because she was spending so many nights there late.
No, I
But
think yes,
I could.
she was working harder once Hazel got there, but also I think this was a flashback. So Richard had said
Okay,
this
got you,
to
got you, got
her
you.
before, months before, or maybe even a year before Hazel got there.
Okay,
And
got you.
we only get to part four when we discover that. So like, how much does it count?
Right,
So
and we don't know how gratuitous that was of him.
yeah, we don't know that because
Because
we'll
the
get to
way
that
that it
later.
felt for me was that she was a diversity hire and she didn't realize it.
Yeah, that's what we end up coming to an understanding of. So, hey, Kitty, you can just add yourself on in the mix. Okay. But yeah, so I don't know. So let's start off since we've already kind of gotten into the discussion of it all. Let's go to these questions um, and sort of guide the discussion a little bit. What did you, how did you find the pacing?
So I feel like the pacing had its moments, right? Like I feel like there were times where I was like, okay, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep reading. I gotta keep reading. And then there were other times where I like, can I get out of Nella's head? And so like I don't know if the pacing was bad as much as I just did not like that girl. Like I found
I
myself wanting
didn't.
to jump back to like I want to know more about Kendra Ray. I want to know more about Diana. I want to know more about Shawnee. Like I just did not want to be in her head.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay.
So repeat that last sentence.
I
'Cause I
said,
was.
I found myself like wanting to speed through Nella's points of view so I could know more about Kendra, so I could know more
Yeah.
about Diane, so I could know more, or
Mm-hmm.
Diana, and I could know more about
Here you go,
Shawnee.
babe.
And low key, I'm not gonna lie, I really wish Amani had got a point of view instead of Diana. If I'm low key being honest, I
If
want to
you'll
know
fight
about the
who?
chemist, Imani, the chemist.
Oh yeah, I want to know about. I want to know about Imani.
I want to know about her. Like I
Yeah.
would have, because Diana is like Diana's point of view. I guess it was to get like why she did what she did to Kendra and blah blah blah. But like I don't know. I would have preferred Imani, and they both went to Howard, so you could have kept your Howard Harvard storyline that you was going for. So like I don't know.
Yeah. The I wish the storylines had a bit more equally divided.
I do too.
Um, and I do wish that we had gotten to know a little bit more background about Hazel, but we'll talk about characters a little later on.
Yeah, yeah.
I
My bad, my
definitely
bad.
agree with you about the pacing. Like you said, it was very compulsively readable. Like I really, even on my reread, I wanted to know what was going to happen. Not wanted to know, but I wanted to continue reading. And like you said, I did get tired of being in Nella's head, but I wanted to know about almost everybody else but her.
Right.
Okay, so what do we got for comments? On my TV, I think I already saw that one. Okay, y'all. Why did you walk in? Yep, I saw that. I love the idea of this book. Some things I feel like could have been done better, but I kept thinking all skin folks ain't kin folks.
For sure.
Right,
For sure.
because I felt like the pacing was. Now, did you feel like this was a thriller
I didn't get thriller vibes to the end. I just got like it
until
was
the
just
end?
compulsory reading. Like nothing. My heart
Mm,
didn't start to get heart like beat harder until like Shawnee. Like we get into like part
yeah.
4 and Shawnee is like getting snatched in the cars and A go black. Like that's when it started to like. I'm not gonna lie, that was so extra, but like in the moment, you like, dang, okay, she yelling at you because you didn't
Yeah,
listen. Also,
yeah.
I was mad. Like, Shawnee, why you ain't listen? You know how insidious this stuff is? Yeah.
You done been burned before. Like, what is going
Right.
on?
The way
What
I
is
want to
going
know the
on?
story behind that scar on her cheek, like, there's just so much.
There's so many things
There's
like
so much.
outside of Nella, like going back and forth on her terrible choices. Okay, we're gonna continue. Let me get some more comments though, so I'll get too far behind. No notes. Breathe. So unprepared. No, we can't be
Y'all,
soft.
the way that I've been in a workplace and had a white lady lie on me, so I'm like blind copying 7 different people on my work so she can say she ain't got it, but everybody see the email to her. Like, what?
Yeah.
It just make it make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it just. I was so confused in the very beginning. Hang on 1 second, y'all.
Now we both muted because I had to tell the dogs to shut up at the same time. Okay, well, I
So
will.
out of the repairman was here asking me a question. So yeah, like I'm sit right. I'm right by the front door, so I didn't have time to move my computer. So unprepared. No, we can't be caught lacking enemy. Listen, and she knows this. Nella knows this. She says it repeatedly. I understand it was her first job, but she was blaming black on black competition in the workplace on stuff that just had to do. Yes. So, like I said, I think it may be in my Goodreads review or in my quarterly wrap up. I felt like this could have been set in almost any office setting. It didn't have to be published, right? Like, do you agree?
Oh,
Yeah.
I
So,
completely
like,
get that. I was so mad because like to me, all the marketing went to like this book is about publishing and it's an eye opener and it's just shedding a light on all the stuff in publishing that we don't get to see and that we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Where? I've literally had
where?
almost these exact same conversations in the tech industry. It's not
In like almost every industry where there is multiple office levels,
levels, right? Like makes no sense.
like, and even to an extent where there's any kind of hierarchy situation. Like, I can say that I dealt with some of this in the food industry, in the food service industry, I should say. So from white people and from black people too, and
Yeah,
I was just as confused and mad then. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I didn't mean to do that. So then we have. Uh-oh.
My
I
bad.
felt like this book. That's okay. I felt like this book and all her seekers would have made a perfect book, baby. Yeah, like I don't. Unlike some other books that I think I may have really not liked at the end of the day, I don't think I don't think I won't read anything else by her.
Yeah, no, I definitely would read something else. I definitely because I'm curious to see what else you could do. Because like I said, as a writer, she wrote a great anti-hero. I don't care. You can fight me on that one. Like
Yeah.
this character was not likable. And the way, like to me, I think like I will say this till I'm blue in the face. She is a perfect example of being pro-black when you're the only black person in the room.
Yeah. She was so insecure that okay, we're gonna talk about her when we get to characters. Like, I wanted to slap some sense in that MC for letting her guard down, but she was nowhere near as bad as Nella.
Right.
Oh, and she's talking about in all her little secrets, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So she was a diversity hire. She didn't. She thought she had gotten a legacy recommendation, but not, she was really just a diversity hire. I love the pace of this book. It was quick and good. uh, good to get through. I found the pacing slow. Well, I didn't.
I
I
didn't.
was
It
like,
not.
only thing
I
I can
read it
say
super
is I
fast.
felt like it could have been better, um, like sections. So like we part four is only like 30 pages or something like that.
Please ground.
No, it's more than 30 pages. But I feel like part four there was a lot going on. Country breaking at the dog. Oh Lord. I felt like there could have been, like I said, more sections, more equally distributed parts. And we spent too much time with Nella, like in her head,
I think it
and not
was
enough
trying to
time.
lay such a thick foundation of Nella being a victim, and I feel like
Yeah.
that wasn't the point of the story to me. So like I felt
No.
like the point of the story was what was going on in the world with these black women, and I just felt like
Yeah.
you could have given us more about everybody else than her. Like to me, it was like you were laying it on too thick that she was like the victim, and I was like, but she not. Like
Right. She's not
girl,
the.
there you said
She's
there ain't no black people in your building. No, there's black people in your building. They just don't work on your floor. You just not gonna talk to the other black people because they not on the same floor as you. I don't understand it.
she was socially awkward at all points of her life. Like you could tell she didn't have friends, and I mean she may have had like one friend growing up. She didn't mention anybody, but like
Malika's the only one we hear
may.
about. And like when
That's the
she
only.
references things in her past, she references boyfriends and they're all
Yeah,
Caucasian. But
they're all white.
she don't reference nothing else.
Terrible.
And her and Malika ain't even been friends like super duper long.
Not long at all. Like part of college and now to
Right.
present. I will say that when I was getting very annoyed with Nella, another POV would whisk me away. Yes, absolutely 100% agree with that. There were chapters upon chapters where it felt like nothing. No, I don't disagree with that, but I think that's what like rolled into my complaint of spending so much time in Nella's head trying to
Right.
like things were happening, but it was her analyzing her
Right.
situation, and like making it about her. It wouldn't even necessarily have to have been about her if she was
Right, like the
more
stuff she would
secure in
see
herself.
and say, I would be like, how why did you see it that way?
Yeah, like the things she saw thought were suspicious were so like, why is that the thing that pings in your head, not this other thing?
Right.
Like,
It was really weird.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Imani should have had a point of
that
view.
part. Seriously. Like, y'all just sprinkled her in. That was rude.
Like, cause where I just like finished before we went live is literally where she brings the idea to old girl. And I was just like, here, why like she was working on this without any conversation. So what was going on in her life? I wanna know.
Like, what made her decide to go about formulating this shit? Like,
Right.
like, how did this how did this get started? This is what I'm missing from this whole book. I want to know, how did y'all start? Like, what made I just mm,
I think that would have
I
been dope, actually, just if it was Imani and Nella. Now that you say that,
mhm.
because honestly, Imani is so much like she done made all the formulas. She done made it from this thing to this. I don't know. I agree with
Do
that.
we know if Hermione is still alive by the end of this book?
Yeah,
We do. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yep. Because I felt the quote from I cannot pronounce her name. I fumble it every time. Give me a note of what kind of thriller this would be. Gave me
Yeah,
a
I
note.
think it's like
I
being
didn't.
in black is
Oh, did
horror
she have
or
a?
something like that. Hold on. Black history is black horror is the note.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was come to. Devil meets Prada meets.
Get
Oh,
out?
a thrilling, edgier. The Devil Meets Prada. I hate when I'm really. We're gonna have to talk about comps because I'm just really
That
so
part.
sick of this. A few months back, this is Marlena talking to Britt. A few months back, I mentioned I was reading this on one of my streams, and you mentioned you weren't going to read it. I'm dying to know what changed your mind. That tea? Give us the tea. Probably Shay.
Nah, because that we read this like the month it came out. So
Okay,
maybe
okay.
she was saying she'd never reread it again. But like we read it
Oh,
when it came out. Yeah, yeah,
definitely felt like slice of life and thriller to me
yeah.
until the very end.
Till the end. Yeah, yeah, till the end.
Okay, Black History. Oh, yeah. She wrote about this book.
No, that was just a quote. No, that was a
That was
quote
just
she
a
wrote.
quote that they put on there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's from Horror Noir, A History of Black Horror.
Oh yeah, I want to read that. Um, I meant to buy it. I watched and read a bunch of. I wanted to read or listen to or watch some of her interviews before this discussion. I just ran out of time. But I've heard that she said something about me being more like Nella than
Yeah,
Hazel.
and yeah, in the three
And
interviews I said in the conversation, she said that she when people are like, "Are you more Nella or Hazel?" Oh, I'm more Nella every time.
on my Twitch again. I learned more about traditional publishing from Twitter than I did from seriously. Like we,
That
this is
part,
none of this was new. Like
you know.
if we've
Like this
ever
is stuff
even
that we imagine have to happen on a regular basis. Like
on
the
a
book
normal
cover
schedule,
thing, we there's been Twitter conversations about what happened at Barnes and Noble when they tried to put black faces on classical books. Like so we know that that's got to be a scene. Like really, I just felt like you could have done a lot more.
mm-mm. I recently did. I think my very first hate read, and that was an experience. I don't know if I've
I'm
ever
currently doing one
outside
right
of a
now.
discussion. You currently doing? Yeah, you are.
I'm doing
Look at
one
that
right
evil face
now.
you just put on. I love it. That Scorpio in me is like,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, Twitter thread me, y'all. It's I'm I'm low key the way I keep I'm like somebody gonna send her this thread because I don't say what book it is and I don't say the author. Y'all know me. I'm like, hey, if you find it, it's because somebody wanted to ruin your day.
Yeah, I only heard some of that, but I'm sure I would agree. I'm sure I would. I'm not gonna ask you to
I
repeat.
said all I said was I didn't I said the Twitter thread is there, but I said I didn't
Yeah,
say her name or the title of the book. So if she find it, somebody just wanted to ruin her day.
and then I always like. I heard somebody say this in an email one time at my last job. Their sign off, like you remember how people used to have signatures.
Yeah, I still got one.
Not to say that I don't, but this one was like, "May you have the day you deserve," and I'm a she. This person might deserve it. Is all I'm gonna
Man, y'all.
say.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Mm. Her white boyfriend said that though. Which one? Which thing? Cause
Say what part? Yeah,
we.
we just said a lot of stuff. What her white boyfriend? Okay, can we talk about the white boyfriend real quick since you said that? It
Mhm.
made me so mad that there's a line that literally says maybe if she'd courted and bedded a man of her same ancestral heritage at least once, she wouldn't feel this way or something. I,
Bitch,
the
what?
way that the fact that that means that you describe being vetted by white men, I just feel like that's an icky way to say. Like I just okay, I just had to say that. I'm sorry.
Man, them choices.
The word choices in this book, bruh. Awesome.
Choices
The
were
way
made.
I'm coming for your neck as a black writer saying dreadlocks in America. Like if you're not from America
Ugh.
and then you have to know that's one thing. But bruh, the way I hate seeing that word every time I see it in these books.
We already 36 minutes in. We finna move around. Okay. What did you think of the plot, story, and the world? I don't. We gotta apply this to. Okay. We gotta apply this to this story because they're. I feel like they're advertising it as like a thriller, right?
They are definitely advertising as a thriller. Yes, for sure.
Okay. So in terms of the plot, it's not giving thriller to me.
Uh-uh. Not in the way it should have or could have with what you
Right.
had.
It could have.
It
It could
could
have.
have. It
It
could
had a
have.
whole lot of potential. Let me see where were those
I
extra
thought they were like,
questions.
I was like, these notes either should have been like more aggressive, like more often. Like you could have done so much more to like pick up the tension with that. And like to be honest, she was just really lackadaisical about it. Period. Like she didn't want to talk about it to nobody. She just want to act like nothing happened. And it was like, but if it's a thriller, why she ain't feeling that? Why she ain't feeling it?
Did you find it unique?
Did I find it unique? The story?
The story, the plot.
Yes, yes. I found
I
like the
did.
mechanism to do the things, all the yes. I thought that was unique. I definitely wouldn't I ain't seen nobody come up with something like that before.
Me neither. Even though I felt like it could have been set in a any kind of industry,
Yeah, no,
I
I
still
definitely
thought the overall, the overhanging plot was unique. I agree with
yeah, I agree with that.
you. There were definitely twists. Did you think it was clear the story that was being told?
Oh yeah, no, I like at the end of the book, everything like I thought the way it ended made perfect sense. I was like, cause you were leading up to this ending the whole time. Like you were leading up to this. And if you got caught off by the book, you wasn't reading the same book I was reading, or you wasn't paying attention. Cause nothing about how it ended should have shocked you about like the main character.
It wasn't clear to me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to shuffle conversations. I'm listening though.
You fine, you fine.
I heard that one that time. I didn't find it clear because I still don't know it doesn't. It at the end of the when it was at the end of the day, I didn't think the people who needed to have been penalized got penalized. And to me, I didn't understand the moral of the story. I had to come up with my own moral. I think, which I don't know because I haven't seen an interview, so I don't know if that was what she was trying to convey. Which what I got from it was stop trying.
Okay, see, so I feel like I got that more from Master than from this. But I totally get where you got there. So for me,
Right.
I don't feel like the like insidious nature, the two organizations that right. I do think the storyline for Nella, the main character, was very, very clear. That's what I mean. So that to me, the plot with her art, like from all the way through the story, for me, everything is telling you that she's already one of these girls without any altering. Like, so when you get to the end and she's changed and she didn't stand up and she didn't believe Kendra Ray and she didn't do those things, it made perfect sense because she's always been this person. She's been trying to convince herself that she wasn't. And so for me, I was like, yo, I wonder how many black women are going to read this and think that they're Nella and da 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 and get to the end and realize you ain't for us like you thought you were. Like that's what had me so hyped the first time I read it. Like I was like, oh, I hope you read this and it chapping your ass. And then the more I sat with it, and the more I sat with it, and the more I sat with it, I was like, this is a mixed company conversation, and I don't like that you did this.
Oh, definitely. There's some things. So in that little section of the plot, I have a question about are there twists? And there's definitely twists because it was supposed to be a thriller. So let's talk about the twists that there were. There's a few things that both of us talked about that we just was like, ooh, east, ooh, ah, ooh, the mixed yeah,
Right.
conversation. So I did think it was hella clever that the hair grease, the hair regimen was the mechanism for change or
Yeah.
hypnosis or possession or
Right.
whatever
No,
you want to
I
call
think
it.
that
Like,
like it's so funny because we did When Black Women Speak on Monday talking about black hair, and my mic drop was that natural hair you think they're pro black, right? And the way that it works so well, and that's why when I read it the first time I was so hyped because not only was Hazel natural, Hazel had locks. You know what it's supposed to say, right? And I'm just saying, I know we didn't talk about this one person that we know that got locks that's in this one position, but I mean I'm just saying, if we think about it in logical terms, these things exist, right? And so I just remember like looking at these different mechanisms and being like, oh, I love how you did this as a writer, as a black woman. We gotta talk.
that part, like as a black woman or just even a black person, because at the end of
Right,
the day, and at the end of the book, there's a black man that we are sort of alluded to that he's been
right.
changed too from this
So
radical.
now I can't remember, is he a voluntary or involuntary? Because that's the
I
other
felt
part of
like
the
Hazel
conversation.
was trying to allude to him being a voluntary. That's how
Okay,
I think I dog-eared that page. Yeah.
okay.
I've already won this one. Well, talk about it more. Does that sound? Maybe we can even ask Jesse to give you some pointers. So I feel like he knows. This is
Well,
on
yeah,
page
but like Hazel
347.
knows now too, right? But originally she
Oh
was
yeah,
originally she was
involuntary.
voluntary. And remember he'd been
Mhm.
on hiatus for a while up to this, and then the first time you see him, he just knew
Yeah,
you.
it's
And
there.
so that's what made
Hmm.
me wonder, was he like an involuntary? Because that's a whole nother conversation about the story I want to talk about. Because those were the parts that were really making me mad. I
Like,
did not
let's talk about how you even got in that door. Like, I don't think it didn't really seem like Hazel knew him before trying to convert him. Not really.
yeah,
They tried to act like she did, but I didn't really catch
I
that
didn't get
whole
that vibe either. I didn't get that
vibe.
vibe either.
They tried to make it seem like it, but
Right.
let's
I thought it was just
see.
another mechanism, right? Like, okay, we see this man, he's doing a lot, right? So it's like, think of young black activists we see on Instagram, right? And it's like we need someone like this to be on our side. Because the truth of the matter is, if we have him, right, he can still say pro black stuff. She can still be a mentor of black kids in poetry. She can still get thousands of dollars donated, right? And she got her locks, and she gonna say what she gonna say, right? I'm just saying. That was the ingenious part for me. That's why I was like, I gotta give it to you. I gotta
Yeah,
give it to you because like
yeah,
that's good. But
yeah. I don't have the patience to hate read. But Shay and I do have a lively conversation talking about it last June or July. If you want my thoughts. Could have been. This could have been a series. Yeah, it should have
it
been at
definitely
least.
could have, but I
Yeah,
publishing don't like those.
like a whole world. Like,
Oh yeah, nah. Yeah, because then we could dive into One Year Being in 1983 and what
mm,
happened. And that, or even
mm,
like, it could be two points of view each time, right? So we got Shawnee and Hazel and Nella in 2018. We got Diane and Oh Girl in 1983. Then we got them in 1984. It could have been.
let's see. There was so much to unpack. So much to unpack. Like, ridiculous. And we never really got a chance to do that. Like, once we learned all the information, it was over. So, um, mm, Nella never associated with other black people, but then was jealous of hate. Like, that's the
That
part
made
that
me so mad.
really,
So
really
mad.
upset me. like throughout her life. Not we're not just even talking about because me and Shay weren't sure if India was black, but I know she wasn't white, right? So it's like, why didn't you foster a
No,
relationship with
India. So
India?
India's skin is brown and everything. So I think India is black.
Okay,
Like,
and
yeah, no,
then
I
why
meant to
didn't
text
you?
you that when I found it. My bad.
No, that's okay. Why didn't you do more to cultivate a relationship that was on the up and up with CJ? Like he drunk texted you, so he at least had your phone number, Nella. But like, why didn't why didn't you foster that? I understand how that could be awkward after somebody you work with
Right.
that you're not interested in, but also I don't trust that Nella didn't do something to not make it clear what kind of relationship she needed to foster,
Right.
like, or
Like,
that she had a boyfriend because she
right.
didn't mention
Because
it.
we know she don't talk about her relationship.
Yeah,
So,
so I can't 100% be mad at CJ because we can't trust Nella.
right.
I will check it out. And then I read some other author interviews and I realized she is Nella. Yeah. Can we talk about how there is no reason to target Nella because she was
No.
not a threat
But
to anybody.
they thought she was because she
They
was
thought she
doing
might
that
be
diversity stuff.
eventually.
And then
Hmm.
remember there was the article that old girl had swore she wrote. And they'd already had to deal with somebody else writing articles at other place. So, like, they thought she was. Remember, because Hazel was shocked that she wasn't using the hair grease. Like, Hazel realized, oh, you already doing this. That was
You
all that moment
already.
was. She was like, oh,
Like, I think I dog eared that too.
that
Cause
was
I
oh, that was one of the clay. Yes, tell her that she always been this way. I loved it. I loved it.
comps are trash.
Trash
I'm not
comp.
into it.
Trash.
She did say they really couldn't find comps to. I could say like I think who is this? Washington Post is the one that comps it to, or they say a thrilling, edgier. The devil wears Prada. So it's not necessarily the publisher doing that. But who published this? Atria. Child, I can't read that. I don't have my glasses
Let me
on.
see.
No, I think I left them in the car.
Yeah, Atria books.
Okay. And they're
I'm gonna turn this other light on. My bad, man.
Atria books. Simon and Schuster is, I guess, the bigger umbrella. So there's that. Also, when I said no, I meant by yeah.
Oh, got you.
She said Owen was base.
I remember that too.
Ugh.
Oh, can we talk about why did you give her Kendrick? Why? 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 Do you know how mad I was? Because I totally missed that in the audiobook. And I was
I
like,
missed it in
wait.
the audiobook
And
too.
also probably because at the time that I read it, I didn't know like the complete like what Kindred was about and what's going on in Kindred. And I just feel like if I had a white boyfriend and he gave me Kindred, I'd probably cuss him out and we just wouldn't be together. But like we wouldn't have been together because I wouldn't have a white boyfriend because there's that. So like I just couldn't. I
I just
couldn't.
don't want to have that conversation. She
I
kept over and
don't.
over, and I feeling comfortable like being open with him and let him know what was going on with her. I just don't want that for my relationship with
They didn't have a
anybody.
good
Like
relationship, period.
I
Like
think it was that. Like their relationship wasn't good to
their
begin
relationship
with.
was not good and not like a bad, like he was bad to her. Like, girl, like, what are you doing
No,
with this man?
like she didn't.
Like,
They really didn't have nothing.
literally, I just feel like that's the only way she could survive in New York.
Yeah, like she couldn't have not off the Wagner
Wagner,
salary
she couldn't have
or
lived there.
whatever.
Like, that's like, I feel like that was why he was in her life because it just makes no sense. You don't listen to nothing he says. Like, you don't give like any thought to any like of the stuff that he says when he's like genuinely trying to be a protective boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like in these situations, it was weird. And then I also didn't like how like at no point in time in her life did she make room for black people? Like when she talks about being in high school and she's like, I couldn't help that in my AP classes were white and Asian people. Bruh, first of all your classes can't be AP classes starting from freshman year because they're not even offered that way all the time. Like, are you being like,
That part, because I don't think she even like her home, her house was around black people either. We didn't really talk about much of her family. I think she was an only child, but she had an uncle that was mentioned because he gave her a car.
yeah?
But
She
outside of
said like
that,
they would go to the hair salon and they be reading like old Terry McMillan and Jet. So I imagine it's a black hair salon every time she
right?
went to go get her hair done. And then she says that her parents like gave her year round black history assignments. They were gonna make sure she was pro black. And so I don't know. It was like giving conflicting messages for me.
It was so weird that she didn't have any kind of social skills. And she seemed to just not know how to
Talk to people, like white or black.
build a rapport with people. She just didn't
Right.
seem to know how to do that. And so her insecurities to me really really fed off of just not knowing how to connect with people.
Right.
I often think about my proximity to whiteness, and it's one of the main reasons why I quit my job. Mm, I don't know what this is about
What did
either.
you forget? What did you forget? Let me know.
Probably now I think it was
Oh yeah,
Ace of
no, we not
Spades.
reading Ace of Spades. I won't do that. I'm not
This is
doing.
another book. I have it right here. I pre-ordered this mug. I got the little, limited edition merch and stuff.
I
You know what I'm
almost
talking about?
did
Like
because they all came out the same month. Blood Like
they
Magic,
did. They did.
the one we read last year, the Cozy Mystery.
Yep.
This they all came out.
Yep.
I was calling it Black Girls Debut. Like June was
Yeah.
Black Girls Debut month because it was everybody's first book.
Yeah.
And I bought 3 of the 4. And I was like, no, I'll wait
Man.
on Ace of Spades. Woo, the way I would have cussed everybody out. And I bought that.
We not buy pretty covers. These books are the reasons why we're gonna borrow from the library first before we buy it.
Yes. Support your local library, people.
Request that they purchase it. Overdrive.
Right.
Okay, she also talked in the interview about feeling like she couldn't. Girl, I'm not finna do this. That's common, Vina. She said she didn't grow up in an area where there were black
Nah,
kids.
you were grew up in an area where there was a black hair salon. No. Here's the thing. As a kid, do you not say to your parents, I want black friends? Because I know I did. I know
I
I
said
did.
I wanted like black dolls, and I wanted,
Right. Like I know there's black shows, but also I super pro black. So like my cartoons were fairy tales for every child on HBO that came out in the 90s. So my Cinderella was always gonna be something that wasn't white. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think I had a mixture. I think my town, I think I'm kind of in a different situation than a lot of people. My town I grew up in is not majority black, but it's like a very, I think it's like 60-40, literally, and not even a whole 40. There's I think there's some Hispanic population and a little bit of Asian, but not very much. In my hometown, it's really more very starkly black and white. And then there, a lot of the areas there is, black areas and black, um, like
yeah, that's how
neighborhoods,
mine is. Like, I just
but
grew up on
like
the black side of
all
town.
my schools were very evenly split. Like even my honors classes and stuff, I wasn't the only black kid around. You know what I'm saying? There were like I was on the softball team. I was the only black girl on the softball team. You know what I'm saying? But like I just don't. I cannot compute the not reaching out to connect.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't understand it. I can't. I can't understand that,
Like
and I don't want to.
when I was homeschooled, the last 2 years I was homeschooled, we went to a co-op, and there were like it was like college professors would teach the classes your parents couldn't teach, and you went like 3 days a week, and so there were only 5 black kids, 2 of them being me and my brother. Me and one girl, we had lunch every single day. We walked to the Brahms. We had a class together. The black dude, me and him had a class together. He helped me decide I wanted to go to Howard for college. Like there was no I'm not talking to you. There was no like, yeah, and my best friend, white girl, we met at that same place. But I did not make friends with the black people that were there too.
I don't understand that. I can't really cannot
And
relate. It was probably okay. We're still talking about Aces of Spades, non-traditional thriller. Okay,
okay,
why not? You know,
I
more
definitely
notes
think
would
it could have
have,
been more. That
huh?
like there just could have been more that you could have done to make it thrillery.
Yeah,
Because you have the elements there.
you had all the elements. You had all the elements. It was
I think
not.
you were trying to play up Nella's like victimhood too much, and I it just was taking too long for me.
I know, and I recognized that early in the book, but she took far too long to actually have Nella address it. Yeah. What up, Erica? I'm glad I remembered that one. Okay. I don't mind people using the word dreadlocks, but also I'm used to hearing Caribbean people using them because they reclaim that word. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I specifically said Black Americans.
hmm She waited so long to get to the thriller aspects and it weakened the plot. It really, really,
Agreed.
really, 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 really did. It
Agreed.
really
Agreed.
did.
Agreed.
I can't picture you reading that one. Woo, child, that's the one I hate read and all. Just what? I realize a lot of people read this book and saw
Right.
nothing wrong. Ooh, this I
Well,
haven't.
I know people who didn't even realize it was Nella at the end of the book, and I was like, okay, okay.
You know what surprised me though is that Shawnee was there at the end. That was surprising. And I was like, damn, y'all gonna get her again? Hadn't she gone through enough?
I was like, but that made me think that, dang, she must be a bad black woman. Like that's all I
See,
thought
well,
about
there's
Shawnee. I was
that.
like, it's like wherever she go, she gonna disrupt some stuff, and she can't be left there. That's all I saw. No lie.
What I got is what I got is no matter if you can relate to black people or not, you will typically be treated like one rather than if rather you know it or not. Yeah.
Right. So not knowing black people don't stop people from seeing that you black. Like I don't. It's weird that people act like that. I don't know how you could. Ain't no way I would have claimed
And
her.
that's right. Listen, I keep thinking it is worse to be ignorant or willfully ignorant in regards to Nella and Hazel.
Oh, so that was the
Mm,
point. Like there is a
yeah,
difference. There is a
yeah.
difference. That's why Imani and Diana say like they have an issue. Like they wish that there were more voluntary people because they don't like feeling like they're forcing it on. Oh God, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. The other part that
Well,
really
look, look at that.
infuriates
Do that make sense? That tracks. That's all I'm
is
say
that
about that.
one of the conversations we be having when it's just me and you? Is she one of those?
hmm
Oh, okay. All right. Yep. Makes perfect sense. Never mind.
I don't know if I feel comfortable. This is
Exactly.
the. I don't. I know I don't. So I
I
definitely
don't
don't feel
at all.
comfortable.
Like I know that I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with it in this book and audio book.
I'm upset. I
The
have to move
the
on.
way that more people are gonna consume it in TV form, and then I don't even know how. The way that you made black women the villains, and then
Anyway,
you gonna put it on the TV screen.
I'm finna. Mm-mm.
That just really just. Ooh, Vanny, you really don't know how much that just really upset my spirit. Like, wow.
That's
Ooh,
upsetting.
that is very upsetting. Like, whoa, my whole mood has changed. I had no idea that was the thing.
Okay, my comments jumped up. That I got all discombobulated.
Here, let me see where we left off.
Did a couple. I think that's it. She did a couple of diversity sessions and no one attended. I think we're
Right.
talking about Nella's character. Okay,
Yeah.
Hazel felt more like a threat because she came in and had all those white people wrapped around her finger. And was yeah. She said that in the end, she was like, "I've done more than most people, not even just black people, um,
Right.
to get close to these people in a few months than most people
Right.
do in years."
And that's the other part is like Nelly, you weren't even trying at this job. Like you
She
weren't. Like
was though. She was. It just at the end of the day, when Hazel showed up, she like shrunk down and got so insecure that she forgot to continue doing what she's been doing. You know what I'm saying?
see,
Like I
okay.
think if she had tried harder to have a conversation with Vera before the conversation with Colin and Vera, then it would maybe wouldn't have gone down like that unless they were setting her up because that from the beginning because Hazel was
So
already there at that point.
not I don't think Hazel was there when she asked, when she told her the day, like I think she met Hazel at like after. Like she came out
I
of
think
Vera's
she met
office
Hazel. No, Hazel was there when because she
when
mentioned.
she right before she talked to Colin,
Yeah, she was there.
but not after she had talked to Vera to know she was gonna talk to Colin is what I meant.
Oh no, I think she was there for that meeting. Let me see. I made a note.
I did think that I thought that, so I don't think that she was good at her job before Hazel. I think that Hazel being there made her be better at her job. I think Hazel being there made her feel like she actually had some competition, because I feel that she thought that what she did was so much more than all the other assistants, and she'd been there longer and she hadn't quit. So it didn't really matter because she was there the longest. So nobody would get in her
Yeah,
head, nobody would get promoted before her because she'd
I
been there the
felt like
longest and she
that in the
didn't quit.
beginning, but there's a part where there's a flashback and Richard says like
You know,
the
and
narrator.
that's what I'm saying.
It's
But I
just like
also feel
she
like,
says, but maybe she's not actually doing that much, and he was just
or
saying that.
she's doing more than the other ones, but because they keep turning over, she's the only
Yeah.
one that stays. So like that's what
You're
I
right.
mean.
You're right.
That thought. Well, that was my thought. But like the way
Yeah.
in which her working changed, like she stopped going out with Malika in the middle of the week because that's what she was doing. She was going out drinks and waking up with hangovers on Wednesdays, like before Hazel. Like that was the
Yeah.
stuff that she did. And
Yeah.
so then Hazel, she's reading manuscripts in 48 hours and staying at the office and not doing all these things. And that's when I was like, she's putting in the time and effort that like we are taught to put in from jump at that point. And that to me was like, this is why, right? Like you never got Gloria or Sophia's number or whatever because you didn't want to have conversations with them. But then when they had Hazel's number, you felt some type of way. Well, like here's the thing: if you were really gonna be in corporate world and play the thing, you would have been had their numbers. Y'all would have been and went to a happy hour. Why? Because I've had to do. And as soon as I got home, hey, let me call my black friends. Let's go do this. Like, and no lie, like I had to call. I remember having to call my mentor, and I was bawling because these mugs wanted to go to lunch every day, and they wanted to go to like $30 restaurants, and I was like, I'm not paying $30 5 days a week to eat. What do I do? I was like, how am I gonna make it if I don't want to talk to these people and deal with these people? You pick one day a week. You go one day a week and you do that, right?
Yeah,
Like,
because she
but I
kept
had,
saying no.
she kept
You
like,
can't keep saying no
you
and
can't.
expect to foster any kind of relationship.
That's not how it works. So that's why I felt like she wasn't doing as much, if that makes sense.
I'm not finna do that. I'm good. I've read this
I'm not gonna
twice.
do
I
that.
feel
I'm
like
not. That's not
no.
about to
I'm
happen. I'm not.
not finna do that.
I'm
I
already
really
upset
want to
that
see
it's a
one of her
TV show. I
interviews.
don't
Though.
need anything else that's gonna make me even more mad about that.
Yeah, and then she's like code switching. It's like, bitch.
That, oh my God, the way I was like, this is how I know we ain't the same. Because the way I would have just hit you, like, because then you start giggling in my face. Like, girl, let me, it's okay. There's this phenomena. Okay. I'm going to make sure ain't nobody looking around. Y'all,
Okay, so and did we talk about this? You like the writing. I like the writing. Like I said, it's
I liked
compulsively
it enough
readable.
to read something else she writes.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
I will
I
say
agree.
she ain't getting the treatment that old girl got. The second book she write that got me like, she out of there. She done. I mean, she
You
already
know what?
canceled as
It's,
like a person for me. But like as a
yeah.
writer, I like reading.
Yeah, as long as it's not trying to be set and publishing again, I'm not gonna trust her with my time for that. But
Yeah.
I
I really just hope she
let me
just
write
don't
this
write nothing race based. Just write a story.
down.
Like just
Yeah,
write like
just
I
write a
think if she
story.
write a thriller that wasn't race based, I feel all right.
Yeah,
Right. Like
my
everybody.
school was like I said, it was like I want to say 60-40, and the high school for real was like 60-40 for real, for real. It's like it might have been closer to 50-50. All I know is everybody around me outside of class, literally in the hallway, everything, cafeteria, black. So it didn't really matter what the rest of the demographic was like.
Right.
Is my point. To be honest, some of us were not able to choose who we were around or who we fit in with. After the formative years, it gets harder to make friends too. Yeah, but like at the end of, also, but in this story, Nella like never talked about having friends or making friends or having the even
Any
energy.
conversation.
She literally chose to go to white fraternity parties instead of just a mixed party. She said she didn't like the black sorority party.
But you
She
also
literally
didn't
said that.
sound like you liked the white fraternity ones, but you kept going to those. Like
But you kept
that
going to
that
those.
doesn't
That
make
was the
sense to
part that
me.
was confusing.
And so like
She kept going.
I feel like you can't control who you are around or who you vibe with. But
Yeah.
there is no way that you can't seek out the things that you want. I like either. Like to me, as somebody who grew up in a very, very strict religious home, like somebody who was homeschooled for 5 out of their formative years, specifically the middle school ones, where most of your friendships are built. You choose where you go into high school based off of these things. Like no, like some of these things for some people, like no, like you didn't feel comfortable, and you just got to be honest with yourself about that. Why? I don't know, but you got to be honest with yourself about that. And that's what does that bothers me is that when people write these books, it's almost always the other black people. They didn't like me. I was an Oreo or da 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 da. Nowhere in this book does Nella ever talk about talking to a black person. She talks about she never talks about them at any point as a friend. Like
As a
no,
like a peer, a black peer.
like a black
Other
peer
than
ever.
the guy that like taps her on the shoulder and drops the napkin in Starbucks. She doesn't ever give us any kind of interaction with other black people to where we get to see why she feels the way she does. Because
She
like you said,
literally
I didn't
said
catch it, but like you said, her parents weren't feeding her that. You know what I
right,
mean? Like her parents were trying to make sure that she knew she was black and to be proud of being black.
right,
And she just made choices that went against that. And
right.
we never got to understand
Because
why
she
she was
wasn't
like
the
that.
only black girl at her high school. That wasn't
Right.
the situation. Like that's the other thing for me is that like, nah, this wasn't your situation that you were the only black girl everywhere you went. No, you were one of a few,
Yeah.
not the only one.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's
find
hard.
you
It is
find what you
hard.
want.
But
If
if
you
it's
want to
what you
find
want,
your
you're
if you
gonna
want to
work
find your
for it.
crackheads, you can go do that. If you want to go find your meth heads, you can go do that. If you want to
Right,
find your your party goers every night, you can do that and you will seek that out if
right.
that's what you want. If you
If
want to
that's what you want.
find your book nerds, you can go do that. You will do that. That's what you will gravitate towards. So why never felt the need or the draw to go gravitate towards black people? We may never know. And maybe that we will know because we know that the author
Right.
relates
I know how the story ended. It made perfect sense to me. This is why, because you can't be pro black when other black people are in the room. That's why, right? Because then your cracks start to show. You really don't feel as strongly about these things. Like when you're not strong in your blackness, being in a room full of black people who are is really, really hard.
it's really hard and it really shows especially in this Nella character because we don't get that same vibe from Diana. We don't get that same vibe from even though she's under the influence. We don't
Like
get
Hazel.
Yeah, like Hazel, Kendra, like, you know what I'm saying? We get that they wanted to be around, black people. They wanted to go to Howard for Diana and Kendra, and I think also Imani. So
Yeah,
like,
Kendra was at Harvard.
that's right, that's right, that's right. But we got that sense, and clearly after saying this out loud, that was on purpose.
Right. It
That
was
was
it was
absolutely on purpose.
it was on
Yeah.
purpose. Exactly. It was
Hmm.
exactly.
Hmm. And I feel like if all you know is black, you look for black folks. If you don't, it's not as intuitive. Now, it's not even about being intuitive, I don't think, because she has two black parents. It's something that's keeping her from one.
Right.
I guess intuitive is wanting. I guess it's not even about being intuitive though. That's not something that we're taught per se. That's just something
Right.
that it is. I feel like I don't know if intuitive
Right. Because like when
is the
like
word I
as
would
a
use.
black person specifically, like if I go into a place, I automatically see how many other black people are there. Like it's just an automatic thing.
Yeah,
And I feel like that was that we're saying like you just choose not to do that. Then you gotta sit with why you just choose not to do that.
for sure. This is my main
Biggest pet peeve.
main gripe with this whole book is that at the end of the day, none of the white people come to any sort of consequences, and they are not the main villain. And my second is like 1 and 1A. My second biggest gripe is that there's a whole entire organization of black women going against other black women. I hated
Hate it.
hated it.
Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Because for
And
me, I as if I was Caucasian, there's nothing about this book that would make me feel any type of way. I'd be like, y'all did this to yourselves.
exactly, and that's
Like
what's
you
the
brought
most
the
upsetting.
idea to me of on your best friend.
And then did it over and over and over and over and over and over and
And
over
over
again.
and over. Now to the point that y'all doing it to people who don't even ask for it. Like if we're gonna talk about the raping of black bodies by black women in this story, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Hate it, hate it, hate it.
Makes me sick.
I was so disgusted when that reveal was revealed that there was literally a whole ass organization of black women to be pitted against other black people.
Right.
I
And
was
that's what I said.
disgusted.
The only way that that would have come out and to me would have been done right is if we had a money because something had to make that situation happen. And like to leave that out and frame it the way you framed, like it was just black women, like we just gonna do this. And then the false, I couldn't. They lost their families or they lost their jobs and they couldn't feed their families. So I had to do it. Are you
Hated it.
disgusted?
That's a good. Yeah, I think
Yes.
if you look
Uh-huh.
on
Yes.
Goodreads, there's a
A
fair
lot.
amount of,
A lot.
and the ones I saw really loved it. They really fucking loved it. They loved it. It was one of those where you look at the brown faces, and they rated a certain way. And you look at the white faces, and they rated a certain way. I don't feel like the author did a great job having the combo in the book, so I don't know how she's doing it as the screenwriter for the show.
Oh, she's
And she's
writing it
writing the
too.
show.
Oh,
Girl.
can I just say, and I know, Deidra, feel me. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Just not.
No bad
No
news,
more.
no bad news.
No,
Hey.
no. I know, yo, the love of the whiz, the love of the whiz. But yeah, nah, I
And
can't. I can you just not update us no more on this girl? Whoo, not she writing the screen. Oh, oh. Also, can I say, while the other part that's really been bothering me is looking at all the people who wrote praise for this book. I'll just say that.
You said, what about the praise for this book?
Like when you look at the names of the people that say the praise, and you just,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's just like the way I know that, like in publishing, sometimes you don't always have control over it, but some of y'all is big names, and I just,
I'm gonna go refresh my drink on this note while we talk about these characters.
my soul,
What did? Okay,
what is it to gain the world but lose your soul, people? Cause golly, ain't no way, ain't no way.
so we hated Nella, but we also felt like the author was trying to make Hazel the villain,
Yeah, and
and
like,
she. Go ahead.
nah, I'm with you. I was saying, nah, I felt the same way. I just felt,
Yeah, and I didn't really, other than the non-consent of it all, I wasn't super mad at Hazel. I don't
right,
know, y'all,
nah, Hazel
because we don't
seems
really
super
know exactly what
competitive.
she did to Shawnee.
Right, that part. Oh yes, we do. We do.
But did we?
You and
What
her
she
were
say?
talking they were talking at that
Oh,
night,
that's right. She
and the
framed her.
next day she told what she had said.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's not like, I mean, if
I
you're in an
mean,
organization against black women, then go ahead and do that, I guess.
right, but also like that's why you don't tell new people everything.
You
Like
don't,
you just don't, black or not. Like the way
black
that
or
this
not.
girl was like, I'm trying to give you the tea and I'm gonna say sis, and this is my first day meeting you, black or
Yeah,
not, I wouldn't have been okay with that.
black or not.
Black or not, I would have been like, oh, okay. I wouldn't have said nothing. You would have had to prove yourself. Because again, I know women
Look at that
like
mother.
this exist. So why would I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know.
I just, I didn't hate Hazel like I guess I was supposed to,
Yeah, nah,
and
definitely not.
I
She seemed like
really
she was
had a
better for the
problem.
job.
Period. Um, I didn't feel like Kendra got enough
At all. At all.
airtime. Is that the right word? So
Yeah, no.
I don't have too much to feel about Kendra. She said what she said, and she wasn't wrong. But I don't know that I don't
It
hate
just
her.
was weird to me that you were like this bold and then like you found out they was poisoning you and controlling you, and then you just went into hiding for
Yeah,
like it just
30 years.
right,
And still didn't, and then at the end was still not really ready to make a move on it.
right, like
We need to
man,
be quiet a little
especially in
longer.
the age of technology, ain't no way.
Yeah, I didn't.
Maybe I would have been scared back when we didn't have the viral things we have now, the ability to like get stuff out there, get information out there, things like that. Yeah, but it just didn't make sense, especially because she still worked with clients. Like she was still
Yeah,
working,
she
but
was.
just like
I think she was doing accounting or something, right?
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what she was doing. I just
Mm.
know she said like said something about when she didn't respond to a client right away, or her sister still helped their funnel work. So like she was still had a life. She just it wasn't the life that she had before. So like again, to me, I don't know. I would have been working my tail off to expose it if I was that bold to not apologize.
That part because it didn't it didn't track with her arc. All right, let's see. It just didn't track with her arc if she was this bold and just had published this big best. Not even just it was getting a lot of hype. Like the wind kind of got taken out of the wind kind of got taken out of their sails before it really could take off. It still took off, but like when the publicity
Yeah, because it was like 3 months in, she said that, and it was
yeah,
like, whoa, wait a minute,
it's a wrap.
wait a minute.
You done. You're finished. And then we didn't get enough talk about how Diana and Richard ended up sleeping together. Like it was just so weird. So
I
many
was just
unanswered
like, the
questions.
way that I was like, you was a dumb hoe about Diana.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I felt. Like, I was like, you wanted him to edit your book and you didn't hear the bullshit that came out his mouth when he was like, no, I think you and Kendra could do it. No, he didn't want to waste his time. And when Kendra told you that, you got like a little bit of an attitude. And I just was like, y'all not young. Y'all are grown. Like y'all wasn't little kids. You wasn't
No, they.
22. Like it made
Yeah.
me so mad.
Yeah,
So mad.
I totally agree.
And then I'm also not gonna be okay with you cheating on a black man that don't seem like he doing nothing wrong to you at
He
all.
wasn't doing nothing
At all.
that we know of anyway. You just got bored with him or greedy with about the other one. That's all that was.
Right.
It was very giving villain. I wish we paid more attention to white supremacy and how it perpetuated in work spaces instead of putting black. Yes,
Right.
100%
Cause
agree.
like even as it goes, like homegirl didn't really have a lot of microaggressions at that job that we saw. Like if we being real
Yeah,
honest. Like it
yeah,
literally was her being in her head and in her feelings majority of the book.
the whole time. She really and being like self conscious about being the only black person on the floor. And
Right.
she was like, "This corner of the office could use more color." And it's like, "Bitch, just do your work. Eyes on your own paper, hoe."
Girl, like to
Like,
me, when I was like, but there's black people in the building. Like I've been
yeah,
the only black girl in my department on my floor. We had
yeah.
contractors, meaning they didn't even work for our company. I still was like, hey, yo, ended up finding up the dude went to my it was from my hometown. Graduated like 10 years before me, but hey, we started chopping it up, blah blah blah. I find out where I can go get my hair done, like all type of stuff. Like I just don't I'm like to me it was giving you don't want to admit that you don't like black people and that you low key elitist.
High key,
Okay,
elite.
you right. You said it. You right. High key.
She came down and flummed it on Black Twitter, basically.
Man, and then got mad. You don't even talk to this girl. You say all you do is say enough to walk through the door and get to the elevator, but you gonna get mad that old girl bought her a birthday gift?
A
You ain't gonna
whole
even
ass
mad.
scarf. You hadn't even like you didn't even know when the lady birthday was. So what you it didn't make sense.
And you only knew then because you stopped. Because Hazel was talking to her. Because had Hazel not started talking to her, you would have went in the elevator. So you would have still not even known. Right, like 'cause she was the only black girl. Like I think she was a diversity hire. Like she do her
Yeah.
job and she not gonna leave. So we always got one black person at the building.
Yeah, that's why Hazel's like, we don't need you here anymore.
Right.
Because you,
Because
one, first
you
of all, you
didn't make
weren't
them
doing
look as
enough.
good as Hazel does. Hazel got them donating to black causes. Hazel got them bringing in when Vera said she thought that Jesse was an emotional terrorist. When oh boy brought it up, you didn't even say that. You didn't even say wow, because I brought him up to Vera and she said he was an emotional terrorist. Like I would have used that in that moment.
Mm.
The fact that you had never had a conversation with Richard Wagner outside of that first meeting 2 years ago, and you've been there 2 years, couldn't be me. I interned at a company and had four of the executives in my final presentation. It could not have been me.
Child, don't even get me started because I was so sad. But at the end of the day, I know it's still. I don't even want to go there. Never mind. Don't get me sad. Don't get me sad. But yes, no, it couldn't have been me. There's no way. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm feeling right now. I need to go talk to my CEO because we ain't had a one-on-one this week. I need to go talk to him tomorrow. Just make sure we cool. You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right.
no,
It wouldn't have never been. And his door is almost always open. The way I would
it's
have been like,
always open.
hey, I would have been out there. Ain't no way. Ain't no
Yeah,
way. Ain't no
yeah.
way.
Nelly never hung out with the white folks. No, she
Right.
didn't.
Like
She didn't foster any
nobody.
kind of work, like no kind of work relationship. None of them.
Like
None.
nobody.
Only person I guess would have her personal number was that CJ dude. That's the only one she mentioned had her.
Well, and
cell
that was
number or whatever.
Instagram. He hit her up on Instagram.
Oh,
The
that's
only
right.
person she tried to
Right.
talk to was the Asian girl. That
That's it.
isn't there in the story. We get a like paragraph about
Hmm.
her.
Judge them for not going to the black neighborhoods. Yeah. Yeah. She
Right.
didn't. It's heartbreaking when I read books that put the blame on their lack of connection to other black folks, and the main character who makes these claims makes no efforts. That
None.
part, like none, or at
None.
least doesn't talk about them. Like maybe
Okay.
she
And
does,
let's talk
and we
about
would
how low key
understand if she talks about her interactions.
I low key think she kept Malika around to feel like she was better than her. Like I didn't see like their friendship. Hey, hey, they don't want you. Get away from the door.
Mhm.
Like throughout the friendship, I was like, what did Malika get out of this?
I don't know if I got that from their relationship. It did seem like she felt like Malika kept her um black card like
Yeah,
pumped.
like that, right?
Yeah.
Like it was like this
Hmm.
is I got a black friend, right? But like not like
Malika, I don't know. I feel like maybe Malika felt like she was helping her.
yeah.
You know, I don't know. Cause I mean, I'm not gonna say that. On this
They
live.
friendship seemed to
But
always be about Nella's stuff.
yeah, it was always
So
Nella's.
it didn't
Well,
seem
other
like
than like, cause she did mention that Malika had gotten a piercing and her boss didn't like it, and like a hair color or something. Her boss, they talked about that, but like
yeah, when
outside
they
of
were at
that,
the thing, she was thinking about getting the blue
mm-hmm.
hair, but she knew she couldn't because of her boss.
Yeah,
But like
mm-hmm.
in their regular conversations, right? Like she still didn't go do what they wanted to do. They went to this thing because Nella wanted to go because of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It could be, and we was using the wrong way.
No, I don't know. Yeah, it could be. I don't know if I would have chose that word, and that's all I meant. See? That's all I'm saying. Black women versus black women in this is the main reason why I was sad. Yeah, yeah. You're right. It is intuition, but I don't think you need to be raised around black folks to think that way. People naturally see
That's what
people.
I was thinking. That's what I was thinking because like again,
Yeah,
like I grew up on the black side of town, but again, I like we weren't allowed to go and do and be around any and everybody and do everything, right?
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
was still very secluded. And then again, put in spaces where like there were predominantly white people, right? But I still look for the black people. So that's why I was thinking that way. So I like this is more in
Mm.
line of what I was thinking when you said it.
Yeah, didn't do enough feeling things for me until the very end. And even then, it was really just like reading her, like showing, putting a mirror to her face. It really wasn't. I will say that I was like clutching my pearls in the meeting when she threw Nella under the bus about that book,
You
Needles
talking
and
about the cover?
Pens. Not the cover meeting, but when they were talking about Chartricia and like if Colin handled the diversity well or whatever in that meeting when they had the whole all the assistants were there and all of that before the cover design meeting. You remember that?
Oh, so
Because
the
she
code
was like
switching
trying not.
one.
Nella was
So the
trying not to
code switching
cry.
one. The one that led to the
Oh
code
yeah,
switching.
the code switching one.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Nah, I
The
was
one that
like
drove her to go to Curl Cafe
to
and try to
the
confront her.
curl thing,
Hmm.
right? I was like, but again, Nella couldn't be me. Nella, like, cause I would have checked you right then and there. Because again, to me, like this is the other thing that I feel like this is a conversation we have to have. Part of what made them think Nella was already using the hair grease, already kind of down with what they were doing and whatnot, is because sometimes all it takes is not saying nothing. Like that, like sometimes that's all it takes is just sitting there and just, hmm, I'm not gonna, I don't wanna. Because 9 times out of 10, that's what her character did throughout the story. She didn't make a move.
Hmm. Like, we didn't talk about it, but I made a note of it. She didn't even like really build a rapport. We did talk about it a little bit. She didn't really even build a rapport with her boyfriend that much. She
Right,
basically was using, like, he had a whole startup company that was doing well enough to basically foot most of their expenses, is how I read it.
right,
And she didn't even know a whole lot about what that whole startup company, that app, was about. And it was like, how
right.
you've been with him for at least 2 years and living with him for at least that long? You mean to tell me you don't know nothing about your partner's business? Not only just
Like
business,
Nella
but
just
like a
comes off like a
startup.
real selfish person.
Super,
Super
extremely.
selfish. And like super like hot, like she comes off like super high and mighty to me and very hypocritical. Like you gonna complain about old girl talking about she's leaving because she don't know how you can survive living here, and you like, that's ironic seeing that she's going to her dad's job. Girl, she just said she has to go back to her daddy because she can't do this by herself, and you already know you. I don't understand it. I don't
That
understand
part.
it.
It
And when
was
she
it
brought
was
up Vera's
wild.
money, and Hazel was like, "But like, you grew up like that, right?" Like Hazel was like, "Wait a minute, because you sound like you don't know what this life is like." Well, I mean, I'm talking about generational wealth, right? Okay, but we still gotta acknowledge your parents at some level and stuff.
That part. Let me get through a couple more comments. We're gonna get to our last prompts. Had issues with Nella. Oh, I think I already saw that one. Either that, I read it. I wanted more from Jesse. Yeah, like I wanted to know about that little hiatus. What drove him to get off the air, and then what happened? How did Hazel convert him? Definitely want to know more about
Yeah,
that.
no,
Yesterday,
and
I
I
have
like
learned.
this. Like I won't lie, the first black people I interacted with when I got to YouTube burned me.
Burn.
Burned the mess out of me, right? Because, like, again, in this story, right, when you are truly for your people, the only people that can hurt you are your people, because they're the only ones you're gonna let get that close to you. So, like, it does take some learning, it does take that, but you're never gonna know if you don't ever try, right? You're not gonna be able to tell between the ones who mean you good and mean you bad because you ain't talked to none of
Yeah, I think it's worth it. You know what I'm
them. Right,
saying? She didn't seem to think it was worth it
right.
outside her parents.
Right. Low key, she didn't seem to think it was worth to talk to nobody. High key. Like nobody.
Hockey.
Not her boyfriend, not the white people, nobody.
Nobody. She very much used everybody that she came in contact with.
Right.
Or tried to, at least. I have learned to. Oh, I've already said that one. It really bothered me when I read it, but since then, I've also found out there's some black people
Like
in
they
publishing.
definitely exist.
Yeah, they. We just gonna skate on. That's what we not here all night. You don't at all grew up in a white town, but all the black folks found each other. You know, like
Right.
church, like, you know, community, or like holidays, like cemeteries, like,
Right.
um I just think of just naturally, like, just simple geography of the way the town is laid out. 9 times out of 10, they segregated us. Not, at least in part, at some point. You know what I'm saying? So you had to probably either be very privileged or make a good effort to not come in
Right.
contact with other black folks. Oh, here we go. Took the word selfish out of my mouth. I never understood what her goals were for her publishing career. Yeah, what kind of
Right.
books did she like and want to work
Like, cause
on?
you
I don't
said
know.
bleeding heart, but like all we knew was about black women and friendship. Like, to be truly honest.
Yeah, that's
So
how we really
like we
understood
didn't
that.
know like the themes. We didn't know what about it made you read it over and over. Like no.
Yeah, we didn't get that. None of that. Okay, have a good night, Britt.
Mm,
Thanks for coming. We're almost done. We're on our last question. All right, so that ending.
Yeah,
How
hated
did
it.
you? What did you think?
Trash. So as far as like what happens with the other black girls and Shawnee and stuff, I hated it. As far as how it ends for Nella, like I said, that was the chef's kiss for me. Cause like had it ended any other way, I would have been like, this is delusional. Cause like that girl was not moving like this. But like the way it ended, it was like for me, like I said, it was like you can't read this and not realize that you wasn't shit from from page one. That's how I felt and I loved it. But for the like way the story is and for like damn, like you really just gonna do black women like this? Like damn, you ain't shit. Like so yeah. Yes.
Terrible. She really just did black women dirty with this whole book.
She
Like,
did.
I'll leave on this as far as Nella's risk assessments. You risk your sanity for these white people every day, but you draw the line at risking it for black people because you're scared.
And what was you scared of?
Where
You
my
what?
Dollar Tree fan at? Hold up. Hold up. I don't have the iconic fan. But
I was like, what was there to be scared of? You were not a threat to these people. And as soon as you and they realized it, it was like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Like the truth is I'm curious. Was she even using the hair grease in the last one? Like, or was she just being her?
In that
Like
last
that's
scene,
that's the real tea. That's the real tea.
that's listen. Mm, mm. Because I literally just read the last line maybe about 30 seconds before we came on here, and it says, "So what's the real tea, sis?" And I'm like, "Bitch, I could choke you."
Dude, I was so mad. I was like, the way, the way. Right. She used a pea size right before they went to that meeting and it stopped
Yeah.
her from speaking her mind. Like, so yeah.
Mm. I mm. I was disgusted from the point of the OBG organization was revealed. From that point forward, I was disgusted. The second time around, I was pretty much disgusted from the beginning.
Yes. That was totally
I
me.
really was. I think I sent you that text message. I was
Yeah.
like,
We
okay.
were, yeah. Here's okay, because we gonna talk about this in When Black Women Speak. But y'all, when I saw that she phonetically spelled out shit, I was done. I was like, and all these proper nouns, why? Why? I the physical read. Mm-mm. If I had
Hated
physically
it.
read these, I would not own two copies. There's that.
Okay, so the audiobook, this second time, I was like physically uncomfortable. I was like, I had to turn it off. On that
Yeah,
meeting with Jesse, I was like, nope, can't do this. Mm-mm. I have to physically read this because I can't listen to this. Like,
yeah,
I was getting secondhand embarrassment because had spent this whole book quiet. It's like, why would you choose now?
right. Like it was like to me, it felt like you. Why? You ain't never did this before. Like it just felt like, is this a Hail Mary? I don't know. It
It
didn't
was
make no
like,
sense.
what did she think the end result was going to be? I really didn't understand that move. But I guess it was a Hail Mary. That makes the most sense to me. That's why I kept stopping because of headaches. Nella was,
Yeah,
she
nah,
was,
Nella
she
was
was extremely
like,
frustrated. She was extremely frustrated. Okay, I think I've said everything. I got everything off my chest that I needed to get
yeah,
off. Did you?
nah. And we
Okay,
stayed out of mixed company territory for an
we
hour and
did.
almost 40 minutes.
We
I'm
did
proud of
good.
us. We did
Hey,
that.
okay. I'm proud of
We did that.
us.
Y'all got final thoughts and stuff? Y'all
Any
got?
final thoughts, y'all? Because oh, I think I already said that I not necessarily like, but I thought that was really clever about the hair grease. And I'm upset that none of the white people got anything. I said that.
No. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Then
Yeah,
that's
because
really all
like
I wanted
Vera
to know.
didn't get a dress, Colin didn't get a dress, Richard didn't get a dress,
Yeah.
like none.
None of them. Not one
Nobody?
of them.
Okay.
I guess so. Okay.
Hmm.
Let me
Hmm.
get back to the comments just in case.
Amen. Amen. But yeah, no.
Okay then.
I definitely. I'm glad you let me do this with you,
I
Deidre.
appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to go have
Good.
dinner and try
Yeah.
to deal with no AC for a night. But
I
it's not
know.
terribly hot, but I don't sleep well in the heat. Period. I just don't. We'll have to open the back door. Hopefully, the next door neighbors' little yappy dogs
Not be
will be
yapping too
quiet
much.
for a night. Yeah. I would read
Um.
again the
Yeah, I
author. I
definitely
would read the
will.
author again. Yeah, as
Yeah.
long
I
as
hope
she
it's
don't
not
try to
about
give
race.
me anything in publishing, I don't know if I would not read it if it has a racial theme, but it you got to give it to me in another setting, and I'm definitely
I
gonna
don't
read the
know if I
synopsis.
trust her, so I probably be like, nah, this is like I know I ain't buying it. I know
No,
I'm
we're not
I'm
buying
gonna get it from the library. I know that
it.
much
100,
for
100%,
sure.
100%.
But yeah, those white men was ridiculous.
Terrible on my nerves. Not you being funny. Okay, well, we thank y'all for joining us. I appreciate you. If you're watching the playback, I appreciate you watching it. We had a good time. We got it all out. Probably never going to read this book again.
Yeah.
And we're out. See y'all on the next one. Bye.
Bye.